Greetings, fellow Negasonic teenage warheads. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And yeah, we just saw Deadpool. BlueDragonFive, I'm going to be straight up honest with you, okay?
Yeah?
Straight up honest, coming from my heart, from one fan to another.
Yeah.
I was very let down by this movie.
Were you now?
This movie fucking sucked.
I hear hammers clicking back to you. You may want to say something quickly now.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I am trying to psych you out. This movie was awesome.
You better specify that, because I mean I have like 8 billion men ready to shoot me.
I literally, I thought of that 5 minutes before we went on air. I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna psych him out and just give him an aneurysm.
I would have destroyed you if that were actually. Sad part is I'm not.
This
sad
movie.
Part is I might not be joking about that.
But first of all, BlueDragonFive, I think a genuine congratulations is in order on your part, because you are the fan here who has been waiting for this thing for 7 years, and all I kept thinking when I was watching it was oh my god, you must be so satisfied.
I am. If there's a cloud 9, I'm on cloud 900. I was so happy with this movie. I am the complete opposite of your every negative feeling you have towards Jurassic World. I have just the
Thank you for reminding me of that.
For Deadpool, it was as hard as it is to say, but it's so accurate. It was worth 7 years of waiting. It really was. It was so wonderful.
So I honestly don't even know how we're even going to approach this without just, as Deadpool himself would say, sucking this movie's dick. But
yeah. Believe me, when we get to our eventual spoiler cast, I have a lot of information because I did read that original script. And I can tell you what stuff was left out and what wasn't. But I won't say that here. I'm going to save that for them.
I guess we can have a promo for that spoiler cast because it's definitely exciting. We will be doing a full-blown, probably I'm guessing over 2 hour spoiler cast with our friend Super Academy writer and director Jacob Gulliver will be joining us for that. Also another huge Deadpool fan. So can't wait for that. But in the meantime, BlueDragonFive, wow, there's a lot to unpack with this thing.
So much. Let me start, if I may. Let me just say, this movie was just my again. It's like the Joker tried to kill me because I had a smile plastered on my face through this whole. I was in laughing fits. It was like I've been hit by a bullet laced with Joker venom. I swear to God, I was laughing at almost after every breath. I was just taking it in.
You know what? I'll tell you the one thing, and I don't think this is a spoiler, because the one thing where I was a little bit I kind of took pause was basically the opening action scene. A lot of the beats from the opening action scene are already in the trailer. And I was like, okay, did they just reveal all the funny bits in the trailer? So I kind of took pause for about 2 minutes there before realizing, no, there's a whole fucking movie's worth of awesome stuff.
Well, what's so great about that, without getting into specifics for the nice people out there, it takes what was presented in the trailers, which I can tell you from the script was always just one of the sequence in question was always just one of the big highlights and just kind of grabbing parts of that script, and it's. The way it's presented here, it was not like that at all in the script. It was just such a wonderful surprise the way they kind of pull it off. And it's taking something that, if you don't know from the script, if you just know from the trailers, because there was kind of a big selling point, it just kind of takes it from a different angle and makes it all even better. It really does. It makes it kind of artistic, but also very hilarious and very meta.
Absolutely.
But oh yeah, this film again. Now, barring my super satisfied reaction to this whole entire film, if you could preserve happiness, that was me.
God damn it! I'm so jealous of you right now.
I'm serious. If you if you could embody happiness, it was just me during that movie. But I mean, wow, I'm sorry, just trying to get over myself. I'm still in a little bit of shock, folks. So forgive me if I'm just still awestruck by it, and I still might be for the discussion later on. But my point is, this movie, unbelievably, is one of the biggest, best things I can say about this movie. It was 90% faithful. I mean, no, the whole thing was just faithful to what Deadpool is as a character. But I mean, just in terms of like adapting everything, it was like 90% on the money in terms of like everything, even things I didn't factor in that they were even gonna pull off in terms of reference wise. I mean, if they didn't do something that was completely pulled from the comic, then at least they mentioned it or they had reference to. Basically, their events were kind of slightly molded so they would kind of make a cohesive story. But even though very minor changes from the stuff I went through and told you about in the
I think a good example of that, like right off the top of my head, is the whole how he got the Deadpool name.
Yes, I mean it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just kind of it's tweaked a little bit. So, I mean
Sure.
the effect still comes off there, but I mean again elements from that are still coarse throughout the film, so it's like you're not missing anything really. So I'm just so impressed. Like 90% on the money, just with that 10% is just really the shifting of events really.
I got to tell you, there were at least like 3 moments in this movie where the audience reacted hardcore, and I had no idea what the fuck they were reacting
to. I was one of those gasps. I mean, just like handful gasp of like, oh my god, they're referencing the Joe Kelly origin story.
Right, yeah.
And I was so happy and just awestruck with so many of these little references. I mean, it's such a fan beloved work, and I love it. Let's just say. And I can't spoil it. Never mind. I'll tell you this.
It's so hard to talk about this movie because, like,
I want to. Like, there's a gag in the opening I want to
it.
spoil just to kind of like thank someone, but I can't do it without giving away what the gag is.
Well, first of all, I love how in the opening credits they address the writers as the true heroes.
Well, yeah, that's basically what I was alluding to. But yeah.
Well, I don't consider that a spoiler, really.
Okay, as long as we don't get into
the context of that.
Okay, as long as we don't get into the context, yeah, that's basically they let's just say they gave proper credit to the writers, and it was just absolutely due to Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. And thankfully they're attached to Deadpool 2, by the way, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say there's definitely is a setup for a sequel.
Oh my God, yes.
We're not going to get into how it's done precisely, but let's just say there is indeed a lovely. Subtle setup for a sequel.
No, very subtle, very incredibly subtle.
I mean, it's really like kind of like a blinker, like sneeze or go to the bathroom and you miss it. Okay. But it's not like you hear like the woos of like in the movie theater, and it's just like, oh my god, it's like that's beautiful if you were just there in the moment.
Mm-hmm. I can tell you, this is like one of the first comic book movies I've been in where not a single person in the audience got up, through the credits. Not a single damn person. I had a few people that walked off, but aside from that, didn't stick around for the credits. But pretty much, like again, 95% of everyone stayed in their seats though. I mean, I remember when I saw Big Hero 6 and I stayed through the credits on that, it was like me and one other person, and that was like one of the most awesome Marvel end credit scenes. Oh, yeah. Anyways. And just trying to think where we go from here, man. Can we talk about the structure a little bit without getting into spoilers? Okay, remember, we have to be very vague about I know. But, I mean, okay, let me say this in terms of the script. I will address a few script details without going into specifics, okay? Let's just say it was laid out exactly like that in the script, the way they kind of approach addressing Deadpool's origin and our main story. The way they do that is done exactly like in the script. I mean, again, they pulled gold from that script into this film. So all the great parts of that script were made their way into this film. Sure. And there are a few gags, which again we'll go into later, so I don't want to keep just plugging the script because I mean there's really interesting stuff to go over when we talk about that spoiler thing. That's okay. Last I'll mention that. Keep going though. So the structure. Mm-hmm. I was very impressed by the structure myself because I feel like the structure took full benefit of the fact that this isn't exactly like a $200 million budget movie. You know what I mean? Did it live up to the hype I was giving it with the Batman Begins comparison? Oh, I think this is fucking better than Batman Begins in terms of structure. I mean, I think this is kind of like Batman Begins sort of perfected. It's almost like an inception of comedy, the way they do it. Oh my god, I never thought. Yeah, you're right. It really is. Wow. Yeah. Hey, audience, we're in a fucking flashback inside of a fucking flashback. And let's just say there are indeed some very very clever references just to everything. That's all you need, the references to everything. Oh, I'm sure you and Gulliver will get into the nitty gritty of that. No, I mean like references not just to Deadpool, I mean references to everything. Oh, like, oh god, yeah.
Well, I can't even mention the pop culture references.
Adventure Time.
Yeah, we're not gonna mention how, but it's got some references to that, references to some other big comic book movies, some other big comic book characters. I'm not gonna say from which companies.
Yeah. Of course, I think the X-Men themselves are represented beautifully in this film, and oh my God,
They are.
Some
Very
of the
well.
best lines and some of the best fourth wall breaks comes from just the fact that the X-Men are in the universe.
Oh yeah, I'm just thinking of like just mentioning the X-Men makes me think of one in particular. I'm just thinking of like 8 really fantastic gags that are in this movie about this character.
Best we've ever seen Colossus by far.
Yeah, most entertaining Colossus ever. I mean, completely different from the other X-Men movies versions of Colossus, but much cooler though. Yeah. It's like you basically. No, I can't tell him. I can't tell him.
Well, Colossus is the Boy Scout to Deadpool's, like, he's the angel. He's the shoulder angel to Deadpool's shoulder devil. You know what I mean?
Was pretty. I think I was pretty on the money. How he's kind of like the cool uncle to the girl, to a
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. No, oh God, there's some great moments with Colossus. Again, just stuff that we're kind of just trying not to step over and trying not to spoil.
Yeah, it's a thing because I mean, the Boy Scout thing's all we can really say about that game. There's specifically like a really good comparison.
Pretty much every awesome scene involving Colossus is like a major spoiler, I think.
Yeah, because let's just say there's a lot of X-Men callbacks, so to speak. More referencing callback.
Oh God, I want to say what it is so badly, but I
know there's like a few of them though, so yeah, we can't just.
I know.
Let's think broadly. So again, T.J. Miller. Let's talk about performances. Okay, so T.J. Miller, he delivered an excellent performance as Weasel. I love that they tweaked his role a little bit to something additional to his kind of like he's usually in the comics, as I mentioned in our 101 thing. Mm-hmm. He was kind of basically Deadpool's friend and also kind of his Lucius Fox in terms of he gets him his guns, which is still a part of the movie, but they also add a lot more to his character with kind of what his role in Deadpool's world was.
I actually thought T.J. Miller's performance was surprisingly underplayed.
Yeah, and that's what Weasel is though. He's there and he's just there when Deadpool needs him. It's just right. He is that, and he is a true friend though. It's the idea that Weasel is. Again, there's a big spoiler. There's one character cameo in this film. There were two. I'm going to say this real quick. There were 2 Deadpool cameos that I did not expect, and they're real deep cuts Deadpool references.
Which I'm sure went completely over my head.
One from the Joe Kelly thing I mentioned briefly during our thing, and the other one was completely. Unfortunately, they're not going to do any more with it in the sequel, like I hoped. But when they mentioned it, my jaw dropped because I thought they were going to keep him around for the sequel. I was like, oh my God, yes. But still pretty funny, man. It's not in concrete if he's dead or not. Let's just say the premise of the sequel may bring him back. We don't know.
I think Blind Al stole every fucking scene she was in.
Yeah, Blind Al was great.
Oh my God!
Again, Blind Al and Weasel, they're just kind of they're classic Deadpool characters that have seen Deadpool at his. They're real close and personal friends to Wade Wilson. They've seen him at his best and his worst.
I think Weasel is more kind of the heart of the story. Yeah. Well, I mean, aside from Brian Bachman, of course, but I think Blind Al is just purely comic relief, and she's fucking awesome at that.
Oh, that's exactly how she is. I mean, they had the bit I told you about in the movie. I didn't expect that. They did No, but they had the bit in the movie where you kind of see the sympathetic side of Blind Al to Wade Wilson. There's a really great bit, punctuated by some really dirty humor, but still very just so on the money with the Joe Kelly stuff that he did with Deadpool is at his lowest point, and Blind Al will be there for him. Again, so Maria Backer, let's mention her a bit. I think she did a great job this movie.
Oh my God! I'm excited to see her on Gotham now. I have a new appreciation for her.
Oh yeah, Maria Backer is what a woman. First of all, outside of looks, I'm just talking about performance-wise.
Oh yeah, totally. This is definitely one of the strengths of the movie, I think, is the fact that it's a perfect Valentine's Day movie. It really is, because the romance is so well handled.
It is. And let me just no, I can't talk about that either. Sorry. In a movie where you have a character breaks the fourth, folks, bear in mind, when you have a character where we have a movie when the main character breaks the fourth wall so many times, it means every laugh is going to be something really big or something spoilery, because you'll know when you might know when it's coming, so he cannot tell you these specific moments.
They're just too good. They're just like, you have to experience them for yourself.
But also, I love, let me say, broadly mention this, I love how they still, timeline, let me mention the timeline. So the timeline, this isn't really a big spoiler, it's like kind of something subtly there, and just kind of, yeah, okay, I'm going to break, this is a midway spoiler, it's not a big deal, I'll mention this much.
Okay.
Timeline-wise, they, with the storytelling, with this film, they kind of smartly made it a more expedient process in which he becomes Deadpool. So it's kind of like a really kind of, again, it's such a well-weaved story. I gotta give him points for. So it basically didn't span many years, just spanned really 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's Deadpool from frame one, and then of course we get the flashbacks, which was a perfect way to handle it.
And I mean, it links up to basically the Deadpool we see in this movie. I mean, he's still been throughout. He's still been Deadpool, but it's kind of like his first big screen story. Really, it's kind of the first adventure with Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say this though. I mean, again, this is by no means a mark against the film, because again, it's really just kind of Deadpool's first adventure. But I mean, in setting that up though, they did some traditional Deadpool stuff before he became Deadpool, and that's just kind of basically, it's not fleshing out kind of Deadpool's modus operandi, kind of his regular kind of habits and stuff as a mercenary. Which, you know me, that's one of my absolute favorite aspects of the character. But it didn't bother me at all though. Sure. It's like great, and for a first movie, it's great. I really hope that in the second movie we're going to see more of him just kind of being his kind of day-to-day mercenary self, because they just focused on the reluctant superhero aspect of him, which was good.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff with Ryan Reynolds pre-Deadpool in this movie for sure.
Yeah, that's what you got to bear in mind. Again, it is kind of it's a very unique origin piece. So it's still an origin piece, but just they're not really they're setting up the world. They're not building it yet, which I'm looking very forward to. And hopefully, you get more mercenaries.
But I think they're building the world. I think we got some decent world building here.
Absolutely, they did an excellent job with the world building, setting the world up there, and just kind of the elements that are put into play there. Which I'm just waiting to see those elements just come together a little more. Because yeah, it's like makes you wish the movie was like another hat. Like just
this is a big fucking house. It makes you wonder. ...
Oh yeah.
That's all I'll say about that.
Right. Wait, I mean, I just wish the movie was so much longer, though. That's why I wish it was so much longer.
The movie is a brisk, like it's under 2 hours, right?
Yeah, I mean, it flows very nicely. I'm just,
I
wish it was long as I loved it so. I was in Nirvana, Tiki. I was in Nirvana.
But you know what? I honestly think the movie is all the better for being 2 hours, because and this is just kind of like the cynical kind of like worn out Marvel fan that I am. Age of Ultron did not need to be that long. Fucking, and I don't know, I just feel like superhero movies in general in Hollywood, like big budget, like we get these 2.5 hour, 3 hour movies, and a lot of time there's just shit that doesn't need to be there. But Deadpool is like, it's so economic in everything it does. You know what I mean?
But luckily, there will be a director's cut coming out. They can I'm saying there were gags you can see in the trailer that were left out of the movie. I'm gonna assume are in the director's cut, which I'm looking forward to.
And I assume the director's cut will be great. But I'm just saying, like, it's nice to just see a movie that, just takes the time to do a 2 hour story, just tell a really, really well structured narrative, and just hit it out of the ballpark.
I mean, again, I would agree with the initial Rotten Tomatoes score. It was, in my view, every movie I see, I'm highest on it the first time I see it, so bear that in mind. But also, it's because I've been waiting for this movie for 7 years. It's another thing to bear in mind. Mm-hmm. But the main thing, though, is I do genuinely think, in my bones, I think this was a perfect movie for Deadpool. I think it was 100%. I think it earned 100% personally.
There's one thing that I kind of wanted to see a little bit more of.
And again, that's the main complaint I have. I just want more.
I wanted to see more chimichangas.
Yeah, I know, right?
There weren't enough chimichangas in this movie. That's like the one complaint I have.
And like, I saw this movie in IMAX. And again, the IMAX commercial had a giant chimichanga, and that's the one thing.
It's like the one tiny minuscule thing that I wish they had more of.
They mentioned it, but it would have been great if they had more of the chimichanga, more of the Mexican food.
Yeah.
Which again, sequel, I want more of. Again, it's not. I'm not taking marks away.
We know there's a sequel. Like, it's already like confirmed and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking marks away this time. But if they don't have any, if they're not more chimichanga and Mexican food references in the next one, like I want to see Deadpool hijack a taco truck in the next movie.
Preferably during the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Might I just say, I thought it was fucking bizarre. I'm sure your theater got the X-Men Apocalypse trailer. Mine didn't.
Yeah, we got the X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah, mine did. It was
Not
really
the new one. We had an old one, but we got
uh-huh. I think Fox is doing kind of a shitty job with the marketing on X-Men Apocalypse.
What we did get a new one of, and it was great. The Batman new Batman v Superman trailer, which oh my god, it's so amazing.
You know, I think people are overhyping that trailer a little bit.
Tiki, I mean, have you seen it?
I've seen it, yeah. I'll grant you this: the first like 45 seconds or so with Alfred and Batman and that whole thing and the Bat entrance, fucking awesome.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that was enough. That, and of course we got some great Wonder Woman. Again, we're not talking about Batman v Superman right now. I
just think everything after the Batman stuff in that trailer was kind of like, I didn't really do it for me. But
I'm saying
the Batman stuff in that trailer is great.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, it's your standard trailers. They can't give away too much about the movie, but they were just kind of giving an additional taste of Batman, just to completely. If anyone can just. Oddly, if
I mean, honestly, I would have probably preferred that one taste of Batman as like a 30-second TV spot. I don't think we needed another full trailer.
I mean, you know what? If it was a 30-second TV spot, I don't think I would have watched it because I'm trying to kind of. I don't want to watch every little thing, but if it's like a full trailer, then yeah, I'll give it a one. At least
yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Okay,
that's just
we're not going to talk about Batman for sure.
Right.
Let's just talk about like how big of a fucking challenge it's going to be to top this movie in terms of superhero movies.
Okay, well, let me ask you this: would you agree with my comment that has been now on the marketing campaign?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean the kind of critical reviews are using my word. You know, the game changer thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's
would you say?
I hope it's a fucking game changer for sure.
Oh yeah, I don't mean to say that pretentiously. I'm so happy that people are finally getting on board with what I've been saying. Yeah, it's a game changer.
I mean, I would love to see Marvel, or I don't know. It's tough with Marvel because they're owned by Disney, but I would love to see other comic book, you know, properties get in this game because it's great. I want to see more stuff like this in Fox. I think this could really be Fox's whole angle of making the X-Men really stand out, is doing more stuff like this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have, you know, another movie that could potentially kind of be its own Deadpool. Obviously, not be Deadpool at all. I mean, you can't top Deadpool. But I mean, a movie that's kind of like it's in a similar position as Deadpool. It's a solo movie. It's kind of like it could be very creative, could be very different. It's kind of its own X-Men thing in the X-Men universe. Gambit will be coming out.
Yeah, the Channing Tatum, yeah.
All I'm saying is that it's the same setup. I'm not saying it's going to be the same movie. I'm just saying that they have an equal opportunity to do something not R-rated or anything. I'm just saying something distinctive.
Yeah, that one is definitely not going to be R-rated.
Exactly. But, I mean, believe me, there are, like, if they were a Sandman movie, they have to do a rated R, definitely. But,
oh, my God.
For DC.
Sandman's a great example, for sure.
Sandman, or, again, you know, Suicide Squad or an Arkham-based movie would definitely be
I wish Suicide Squad was rated R, man.
So yeah, I want to confirm this. Suicide Squad is PG-13, right?
You know, I don't think it's officially rated yet, but I would be shocked if it was actually rated R.
Well, that's the thing. I'm pretty sure. Like, I was like 90% sure it's gonna be 13.
I'd be very surprised. If
again, had the Suicide Squad come out next year, it definitely would have been rated R because of this movie.
But that's the exciting thing, though, is that like with Deadpool being as successful as it is, I think we're going to have a chance to see Suicide Squad 2 potentially be R-rated. You know what I mean?
Potentially. But again, like if they were doing kind of like an Arkham-based movie, they might be like I never want to see just
hell yeah.
Like, you know, for me, like I never want to see just a Batman film, like a distinctly Batman, like broadly with Batman in the title or something like that, kind of rated R, because that means kids can't say it. Doesn't feel right for kids not to be able to see Batman.
By the way, like when I first walked into the theater, the first thing I saw was like a fucking little kid walking into my theater, and I was like, oh dear God.
Yeah,
oh dear God.
Parents, what are you thinking, man?
Well, I kind of get what the parents are thinking. It's like they see the fucking mask and they see the tights, you know, and it's like, oh, superhero. I don't know.
But what was I saying? But you know, like I think Batman distinctly, like if it's broadly based, the soul of Batman, it should be, you know, 13 should suffice. You know, you hint at the darker stuff. That's kind of like, you know, the Arkham games and the animated. It's kind of the Arkham games are always a cross between the animated series and the darker stuff of Batman. There's kind of a good middle ground, like PG-13 Batman animated series. I think that's a good place to put Batman in. They just hinted the darker stuff, a little more explicitly in the 13 area. But like movies like that were like if you did like a more sensible version of the kind of the Arkham Asylum serious album series, or do like a really gritty, really scary Arkham Asylum movie, then definitely make that one rated R. People.
Off the top of my head, this might sound really random, but off the top of my head, like an R-rated Howard the Duck.
You know what? Actually, now that you say it, here's the thing though. It's in a tricky place. I think if not for the Guardians of the Galaxy thing, that wouldn't be an excellent idea. But because of that,
I want to see an R-rated Howard the Duck specifically tied into Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't think they can. That'd be a great thing, but I don't think they can market that because of that. Because he's set in that movie.
Yeah, I know.
Again, oddly enough, if it's so odd to say now Deadpool's been accomplished, again, it's like now the sky's the limit. So if assuming again, it sounds so perverse. If Howard the Duck was not in Guardians of the Galaxy, if he was somehow owned by Fox, just follow me on this. If he wasn't owned by Fox, they could do another Deadpool with Howard the Duck.
Fucking Deadpool and Howard! I want to see that movie more than Deadpool.
And again, one of my favorite Deadpool comics, by the way, Deadpool from Deadpool Team Up features a Howard the Duck bad guy, and it's hilarious. It's nice. Deadpool, and he doesn't fight this character; he befriends this character, Hellcow, one of Howard the Duck's enemies. Hellcow essentially is a vampire cow.
Of course it is.
I kid you not, but it's just like Hellcow is so awesome when he was teaming up with Deadpool.
All right.
And here, the funniest thing about Hellcow, I'll remind you, Tiki, is that Hellcow only says moo. Deadpool's having this really melodramatic buddy, like, I'll die for you thing, and just Hellcow keeps going, moo.
Moo.
Just like a bland moo. It's not, when I was reading it, I always kind of read it as kind of like a bland moo, like moo.
So it's not like Groot, where it's like different like enunciations of it.
I always picture the way I gave this to my friend one time for Christmas. This comic to my friend for Christmas one time, and he always, whenever he loved it so much, every time he would read it, he was just the delivery on it was always this really bland, this kind of straightforward moo. Just I can't help but read it that way. Anyway, so back to the movie. Okay, so broadly, the action, fantastic.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, they were very economic with what they had the budget to do. And without giving it away, like how it weaves itself through the plot, I think they were very smart about it.
Yes. I mean, it's like $30 million more than Clerks was. Was Clerks $20 million?
No, Clerks, the original Clerks was $20,000.
Which one of the Kevin Smith movies was $20 million?
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was $20 million.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. I kept getting it right.
And I'm sure Clerks 2 was up there too.
That's the thing. Okay, point is, in the $20 million camp, you have like a higher grade Kevin Smith production. But Deadpool, it's only $30 million more than that, and oh my god, no wonder Kevin Smith's loving this Deadpool movie.
The CGI on Colossus was surprisingly impressive.
Oh yeah.
Just I love the fabric on his shirt. It's so random, but it's like Colossus has like this kind of like almost like chainmail kind of shirt that he has that gets ripped at one point. I don't know.
Yeah. I gotta tell you, there's this one Colossus gag I really want to spoil, but I'm not gonna do it.
No, I don't know. I think there's two moments in particular with Colossus that brought the house down.
Yeah, of course, let's just say I'm referring to a moment between Colossus and Angel Dust that just cracks me up, but I cannot say it.
Right.
It's just, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that wasn't one of the two I was thinking of, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I keep picturing it was just so well shot. But anyway, so again, I love they embodied the Deadpool supporting character thing. I loved it with Dupinder.
Mm-hmm.
I keep saying Dopinder because that's what I read in the script way back when.
You're talking Delpinder, right?
Dupinder.
Taxi driver?
Yeah, Dexter, Dupinder.
Yeah, he's great. Of course, not giving anything away, but the payoff with him is one of the best things in the movie.
I want to say that was an addition for the movie. Again, they kind of, I want to say, I can't. It's been. I'll be rereading it. Hopefully before Sunday. But then again,
Stan Lee, one of his best cameos.
We'll say that much about it. But I think everyone pretty much knows where it is. But
yeah.
By the way, my theater was so kind enough to with the IMAX showing provide a free poster of the IMAX feature of it, and Stan Lee is on that poster.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
It's really nice. Not only it says Deadpool, size matters. Let me commend the IMAX experience for this movie. By the way, I think it was just very. Again, I'm usually kind of against the IMAX, especially the IMAX 3D. But for the IMAX, it's a bigger screen with the great sound, and usually I'm thinking, okay, well, it's just extra for like a fine.
It's funny that you mentioned it because I actually had a rather shitty sound setup.
Yeah, every
time that a song would play in this movie, it would get kind of like distorted, and it sucked.
I don't want to sound pretentious, but I think I enjoyed this movie more than anyone in my theater.
I mean, knowing you, yeah, I'm sure you were up there, yeah.
Yes, but oh my god, just I'm
glad because I was genuinely surrounded by geeks. You know, I was genuinely like surrounded by people that knew more about Deadpool than I did, which made for a very good viewing experience.
Oh boy! Again, just talking about this movie without spoilers. I'm just trying to think of any last.
We haven't touched on the villain yet.
Ah, yes, Ajax.
Yes. Oh, God.
So Ajax, I know what gag you're thinking of right
now. There's about 3 or 4 good ones with him.
Yeah, and that gag was wonderfully in the script. There was a little more. They turned a little more graphic, but I don't think they had time for it with story they were telling. But I'll tell you that later. But yeah, I feel like Ed Skrein did a great job. He was I believe he's from Games of Thrones, by the way.
It could be, yeah.
There's nowadays everyone's from Game of Thrones. Even the girl playing Jean Grey in X-Men Apocalypse apparently is from Game of Thrones. Everyone and their grandmothers is from Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, Ed Skrein, I thought he did a great job. Now I think I can say this much without kind of getting the spoiler territory. They're in a position in this movie where I told you, they shifted some events around, but there's still some open-ended stuff. But in this movie, I mentioned this in the Deadpool 1 thing too, that they basically made Ajax kind of the one that physically did the experiments to Deadpool and kind of gave him his powers and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, they took out Dr. Kilbrew, and Dr. Kilbrew essentially he was the mind behind. Basically, Angel Dust was Ajax. Essentially, that's how the role reversal was. It was Kilbrew was the scientist, and Ajax was the Angel Dust kind of physical, like kind of nursemaid assistant. But they switched it around. I guess let's just say in the script they would left it open, and there's going to be a definite hint at Kilbrew for future movies. But I think with the premise of the sequel, they could potentially factor him in there. They're in a position where the best comparison I have, it's like Hank Pym for it's Hank Pym for Age of Ultron.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's basically we speculate on Hank Pym being involved in Ultron's creation. They could always just slip him in with a throwaway line saying, "Oh yeah, this is based on Hank Pym's design, the Ultron program. It's based on something he had way back in the day." They always could have squeezed him in there, but they didn't. So basically, it's in a position where you can you can accomplish everything you set out to do with this character without kind of adding every other character who's directly from this thing and still make it work, which they with Age of Ultron with just Tony Stark and Bruce Banner without Hank Pym in there.
Sure.
But there's a little an opening if they wanted to bring in Kilbrew in the sequel. It's like someone Deadpool's really angry at. That basically the guy who came up with the idea of the Weapon X thing.
Mm, okay. I guess one quick thing to note is it's kind of surprising how the movie takes a very dark turn towards I don't want to spoil exactly where it is, but when Deadpool's getting experimented on, with the Weapon X type stuff.
There was a wonderful Bates Motel reference.
What?
Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I mean, not directly Bates. I'm saying there's something that was also in Bates Motel.
Oh, dear God.
And you know what it is. You know what it is.
No, I don't.
Oh, come on.
What is it?
It was a musical reference of some variety to season. I can't tell what season it was, but to a season of Bates Motel.
A musical reference?
It was in the marketing for a specific season of Bates Motel during the torture sequence.
I really don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Okay, fine. It was.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to think how I can say it so you get it. It's like playing frickin' charades, folks.
Just tell me off air.
All right, fine. I'll tell you. There's for the folks out there who are clever enough to figure it out. Edward Nigma out there in the audience. It's a song that was used very well in Bates. It was used very notably in Bates Motel.
all right, fair enough. But no, seriously, like that one portion of the movie was like the portion where there was no humor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and let me tell you my experience with this. Just again, knowing again, let me say this for overall for many of the bits in the movie. This especially during the torture sequence, though. Uh, I again reading the script way back when again it makes me feel so pretentious when I keep mentioning the script, but I knew some stuff going into it. Knowing the some stuff going into it, it's like I kind of like knew the cringe moments. So like, oh boy, I remember this. I know something bad's gonna happen. Like again, they changed a lot of things around. They made it a lot better than the script in many aspects. But it's just there are these bits there like like oh boy, I know something bad's coming. Even without the script, the orgy moments are coming here. Like oh boy, I know this Deadpool's about to get tortured here. He's got to be experimented on.
Oh, I mean, like the whole bit with him and Vanessa falling in love. It's like, okay, we know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, but I mean, the moment kind of the final torture mechanism came, that was in the script, and I knew exactly what that one did and what it does and what was going on there. Like,
and it's horrifying.
And just what that one was. Oh God. It was like, it was much more. It was as horrific as I pictured it way back in '09.
Oh. All right, I think we kind of run the gambit on stuff to talk about without giving anything away.
Okay, just broad overall final thoughts then.
All right, well, I mean, I think it's a hell of a start to the 2016 movie season. I think it's like, I'm sure this will probably be your number one of the year.
Well, we'll see how Batman v Superman does.
I don't know. I mean, knowing you and knowing just how satisfying this movie is on just a primal level to you.
I'm just saying. Look, I mean, my two favorite characters in all of comicdom. I mean, it's DC side, it's Batman. On the Marvel side, it's Deadpool. I mean, hero wise, that's Spider-Man, but character wise, that's Deadpool. Deadpool's number one Marvel character for me. I mean, this year is tailor-made for me, and plus we're getting Killing Joke, the animated film this year. It's all coming up 7 for
right.
movies this year.
And then meanwhile, I was stuck kind of like in blatant denial about Jurassic World for 6 months.
You had the Phantom Menace treatment.
Yes, I did.
I'm not saying it was as bad as Phantom Menace, but then again, I'm not the.
It was almost as bad. Almost.
Again, I not being an Uber, I just familiarized myself with the first movie for the Jurassic Park, really, and just kind of broadly, I get the gist of like the main plot points of the other.
No, I lived and died by that fucking movie.
right. But basically, I kind of familiarized myself with that before I saw the movie, and just I was satisfied enough just basically looking at one and looking at World.
The sad thing about Jurassic World for me is that I was like in denial about it. Like I was like, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah,
it's a good movie.
The exact Phantom Menace thing. If you watch People versus George Lucas, you'll see this happen. People admit to this. Basically,
it's a fucking good movie.
They were saving face by saying, "Oh, yeah, it was good. I need to see it again, though."
Yeah, exactly.
This is the reality setting in, But me,
and then as soon as I saw it a second time, I was like, "Okay, yeah,
I'm seeing this again. I'm going to be so happy tomorrow."
Oh, I can't wait to see this movie again for sure. All right, your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. I was just it was worth. Again, the only best thing I can say about this movie, it was worth the 7-year wait because it was a perfect movie.
All right, fair enough.
It is the most perfect radar movie you've ever seen.
All right, and I don't have any clever Deadpool lines to go out on, so do you?
Well, none that I can say without spoiling something.
I know, right?
Give me a minute. No, wait. I'm thinking. I was trying to think of non-spoiler things. I'm thinking of like lines that make no sense in this context. But wait. I was hoping
that's it. Seriously, just wait.
No. I was hoping you were gonna jump in with something. Okay. Wait! You're probably wondering why the red suit. Well, that's so bad guys can't see me bleed. This guy had the right idea. He wore the brown pants today.
All right, yeah, that's about the only line we can think of because there's so many good spoilerific lines. So
it's Christmas time, Dupinder, and someone's on my naughty list.
Oh god. But it just like shit. We're blowing this.
Don't you want to use the chimichanga line?
Time to make the chimmy fucking chongas. All right, fair enough.